Good morning. Everybody, we're here today to talk about something very important to us and very meaningful that we think is going to create a very positive change in our country. At our march, people rallied in record numbers. We marched and we called our representatives. We started to hold people accountable, our politicians, for things that had very often been shrugged off as the price of our democracy. People really started to put pressure on those who work for them, and we started to see some very positive change. So many local laws, state laws have been passed in order to make everybody safe around the country, but it is not enough. And we realized, how do we make the real change here? What's the real thing we can do to ensure that we have elected officials who are representing us, who are representing the people who need to be represented, who voted them in? And we looked at the turnout in different elections. The last midterm elections, the turnout was the lowest it had been since World War II. And that shows, if anything, just how in trouble our political system will be if people don't understand the power, meaning, and importance of their vote. If people don't educate themselves on who they're voting for, what they're voting for, and worse, if people don't show up at the polls. Voting has so often become a chore to people. So many people have shrugged it off as something that isn't important. People think midterm elections are not important. People forget just how important this right is, just how important our freedom to vote is, and they do not do their civic duty, get out there and vote. Which is why we are excited to announce March for Our Lives, Road to Change, a 2-month summer tour around the country where we will go from city to city, state to state, and connect with community to community, making sure we are going to harness and energy the passion we witnessed on March 24th and turn it into action. We can march, we can bring our politicians into a new light and make sure they are being held accountable, but at the end of the day, real change is brought from voting. And too often, voting is shrugged off as nothing in our country. People don't do it, they don't educate themselves. So often people will just vote for the letter in front of the name of the candidate. We are encouraging people around the country to educate themselves on their vote, to get out there and turn voting into more of an act of patriotism than a chore. And that is our big focus here. We're going to be making more than 75 stops nationwide. We will have a separate tour in Florida, and we'll have 50 planned stops in over 20 states, including Iowa, Texas, California, South Carolina, Connecticut, and so many more. In Florida, we will be visiting every single congressional district. This generation is the generation of students you will be reading about next in the textbooks, because these are the students who are bringing about the real change and changing the game. It's not just my friends and I from Stoneman Douglas High School. We are part of something so much greater. Students all over the country are beginning to get up, rally, move in the right direction, and start to realize just how important it is for us to exercise our freedom. It is with pride that we do our best and share our spotlight with others. We have been in touch with so many communities that deal with gun violence every day, who are getting ready to get moving in ways they never have before. A new energy is brought into this topic. But again, what we say to everybody who asks how they can help, at the end of the day, the best thing you can possibly do is vote. And we will be doing that by registering people in all these areas. We have partnerships with several different voter registration technologies, several different programs. We are really going to do our best to get as many people in these midterms as possible, because 4 million people turn 18 this year. And if every single one of those people votes, encourages their friends to vote, make sure their family is getting to the polls, we can make real change in this country. It's on a personal level, seeing a lot of the people we've been lucky enough to speak to say, I never thought voting would be important. I never thought I would get out there and really make my voice heard. But ever since everything that's happened, I've registered, I'm ready, I'm moving. That's what keeps us going. It's seeing these people inspired to go out there and exercise their freedom that gets this country moving. Because the best thing about America is that America has always known we can always do better. We can improve. We can move forward. And again, the best way to do that is by voting. And as we continue on, we will make sure that everybody in this country who can vote, wants to vote, and will. Because that's what's important here. Real change is brought about by getting out there and making sure that we hold our politicians accountable through voting, getting those out of office who aren't representing us the way they said they would, and getting those into office who are going to be morally just and represent the people. Moving forward, I think our voter turnouts for elections are going to be much larger, as our generation really puts the pressure on everybody to get out there and make their voice heard. And we are excited, optimistic, and thrilled for the future, where no matter who is in office, they will be representing the people, because the people will have actually gone out there and put them in. Thank you all. I'll be taking questions.
What's your name, buddy?
I'm Cameron Kasky. That's a good one. Yes, please. Why do you think there's so much voter apathy nowadays? I think that a lot of politicians out there do not want a lot of young people voting. There are a lot of politicians who want marginalized communities staying out of the polls because they know they will be voted out. I think that a lot of people have slowly been less excited in voting because people are getting tired of the political system. But the thing is, we can fix the political system. Our generation and the many generations that are helping us can change the game. We do not have to surrender to dirty, awful politics. We can make it better. And the best way to do that is to vote. And I think a lot of people are seeing that lately. Who's paying for all this? We have so many people from around the country, families who have been in communities affected by gun violence, families who have been in communities not affected by gun violence, that have donated to us. And they have said, we believe in your cause, we want you to keep moving, and we hope that after the march, we can start seeing some real change. This is us implementing that. This is us making sure that change can go right on paper. Thank you all very much.